Good afternoon. I would first like to recognize the presence of some honored guests. The Minister for Health and Social Security, the Honorable Nicholas Steele, Chancellor Charles Modica, our Provost, Dr. Al Penzick, Vice Provost for Educational Services, Dr. Glenn Jacobs, our keynote speaker, Dr. Matthew Winier, Dean of the School of Medicine, Dr. Stephen Weitzman, Dean of the School of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Ted Hollis, Dean of the School of Veterinary Medicine, Dr. Tim Ogilvie, Dean of Basic Sciences, Dr. Marios Lucas, faculty, staff, specially invited guests, parents, students, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the St. George's University School of Medicine White Coat Ceremony, Part 1. My name is John Madden. I graduated from St. George's way back in 1981 before our students who are being welcomed into the medical profession this evening were born. I am the Associate Dean of Students in the United States and an emergency physician in Delaware at a Level 1 trauma center. It is my pleasure to be the Master of Ceremony this evening. To the students, I want to say your basic science studies here in Grenada and clinical programs in both the US and UK will not only provide you with a world-class education, but expose you to different healthcare systems and cultures. You will make lifelong friends as you experience the trials and tribulations of being a medical student. It will not be easy. Working together and helping each other over any hurdles that you might encounter. In 2 short years, you'll be entering the clinical program. The White Coat Ceremony was started by Dr. Arnold Gold at Columbia in 1903 and is meant to be the ceremonial cloaking as the physician-to-be embarks on their lifelong educational journey. While lab coats were originally beige, when adapted by the medical profession, white was chosen. Early photographs at the Massachusetts General Hospital in 1899 show the surgeons wearing short-sleeved white cloaks over their street clothes. As an emergency physician, I must confess I do not always wear my white coat. Since I often care for patients who are bleeding, spitting, vomiting, and as anyone who has changed the diaper of a young boy, you may have to dodge a stream of urine every now and then. But I do put on the white coat when I speak to a family of a trauma victim who is critically ill, or to someone's spouse when I have to explain to them their partner for the last 60 years will be unable to come home with them tonight and perhaps forever. I put on the white coat because it symbolizes professionalism, caring, and trust. While receiving your white coat this evening represents your initiation into the profession, it also serves as a reminder to our faculty of the importance of teaching and reminds us all to continue to embrace the humanistic and ethical practice of medicine. It is my pleasure now to introduce Dr. Charles Modica, Chancellor and Chairman of the Board of Trustees of St. George's University, to make a few remarks.
Dr. Madden, is this working? Not real well. The first thing to go wrong today. Hopefully you can hear me. I'll speak up if I can, and I only have a few brief remarks. As the Chancellor, I am also known here as the founding Chancellor, which means I got my job because I created it. It's not a bad way to get a job. About 38 years ago. I too was an entering medical school, even more than 38 years ago, an entering medical student, I should say, and I went to a school in Spain. I dropped out after my first year. I decided medicine wasn't for me, and met many Americans that were in the same school in Spain. At that time, your chance of getting into schools in the States was about 1 out of 4. It's actually better today. So we met a lot of great students there. There was 28 students in my school, and many of them had paid placement agencies to get into that school. I left knowing that I wouldn't be a physician, and during the spring of that year, I rode around Europe and saw every other school I could and decided I was going to write a book on how to get into foreign medical schools. Seemed like a great idea to me, and save people placement agency fees. Thousands of students in those days were going, and it's one of the reasons in the United States right now about 1 out of every 4 doctors are foreign trained, and a few of them foreign born, many of them Americans who went abroad. I had a real test, I think, of my own ability to bring bad news to my mom when I went home that summer. She's an Italian American, and her son becoming a doctor was, just going to college was a pretty big deal, but a doctor was, she went to church a lot after I told her I wanted to be a doctor. So you can imagine breaking the news to her that summer that I wasn't going to go back, and I showed her my grades, and they were all approvato, meaning, you know, you made it. And she said, why aren't you going back? You know, you got through. And I said, it's just not for me, but I'm going to write a book on how to get into schools and, you know, do something good. I'm not sure what. And then I had the occasion, did you ever see the movie Moonstruck about the Italian ethnic, maybe, actually it might have passed you by it so many years ago now, but it's a good movie if you ever catch it on the internet. And my grandfather came out to visit to persuade me to go back to med school. That was her last effort. And it was about 2 weeks later, while she was still crying every night about the announcement. And he agreed that, you know what, if you don't want to be a doctor, it's okay. And I was really quite happy. He was her last resort. So he immediately said, so you'll be a lawyer. And I said, I hadn't thought about that. This is a true story, by the way. And, but you know what? That seemed like a good idea at the time. And I did. I went to law school. I loved law school. And I can tell you, having been in your seat in Spanish, you know, many years ago, after 1 year of med school, when I went to law school, I was number 1 in my freshman class out of 300 and something students, and it was a breeze. And I am no, you know, stellar student by any means. But compared to what I did in med school, trust me, it was a bunch of short stories with a little bit of a good ending or a bad ending, and here's the legal principles why, and I kept saying, what do we have to memorize? And they said, nothing really. I said, wow, this is a really good life. So I have a lot of respect for what you're about to do. By the way, that book I wrote on foreign schools led to me going to a lot of colleges on weekends when I was in law school, and the book sold well. I drove in style. I bought my second-hand, but a really nice yellow Corvette. And life was good. And just about every college I visited had someone raise their hand. That's a great book. I want to go to school in Europe. Where can you study in English in Europe? I said, well, maybe the UK, but your chance of getting in there is about nil. And it didn't take a rocket scientist, since I'm not one, to realize that a school in English would do real well. So I went to the library and looked up every English-speaking country in the world and wrote them a letter announcing a feasibility study for a new medical school in English. And the study was really based on my desk in law school on a shoebox in the right-hand corner because I didn't want to buy a file cabinet just yet, not knowing my response rate. And the letters weren't coming back too much. We were inviting countries to participate, and not many people wanted to participate. Lo and behold, one evening in 1974, the country of Grenada had just received its independence, making it a country that we could grant a degree in that would be absolutely recognized in the United States. I just happened to read the newspaper that night and saw the tiny country of Grenada, English-speaking country, had received independence. And they quickly got a telegram from me congratulating them on their recent independence and mentioning to them that they were now eligible for inclusion in the ongoing feasibility study on the shoebox in my desk in law school. I don't think I put down about the shoebox in the telegram, by the way. And Grenada responded. About less than a week later, I got a telegram back. This is before the internet, by the way, guys. You know, this is right after George Washington left. I came in with this idea. So that's the very humble beginnings of this school. Very humble beginnings. Since that time, students like Dr. Madden, who was in the second entering class, you might say, well, which buildings were here when he got here? Not one brick of one building was here when he was a student, trust me. Everything was more portable. Air conditioning was not a problem. We didn't have to pay $32,000 a day for electricity, as we do now, because we didn't have any air conditioning. The few light bulbs we had when they were working, because the electricity was on and off in those days. Now it's on all the time. At the rates they get, they want to make sure we have it all the time, trust me. But it's a humble beginning. Many people, like Dr. Madden, worked hard to make it what it is today. It is the students and a faculty dedicated to education that made this university. You're coming in where the reputation is already there. We are the place. It's hard to get into, probably difficult to stay in, but every resource is here for you to make it happen. So I get to tell you all about this, a little short story about our humble beginnings, et cetera, because it's my time to say hello to you, welcome you to Grenada, knowing that I probably won't speak to you unless there's some kind of major thing going on. You don't want to know about that, so hope you don't see me until graduation, in which case I'll probably say a few more words of great wisdom and thank you and wish you well on your journey into the medical profession that you so richly deserve. So before I go away, with my few remarks having been completed, I do want to introduce to you a very good friend of the university and the country of Grenada and our new Minister of Health, Dr. Nicholas Steele, and if he could just, Mr. Nicholas Steele, if he could just come up and say a few brief remarks to you, Mr. Steele.
Thank you, Chancellor. For a moment there, I thought it was that easy to get a PhD here. Welcome to you all. I am tasked with the unenviable responsibility of being Minister of Health, and in particular of not being one trained in the medical profession. So my words of wisdom to you are not going to come from that. My few words are going to be simply that as the Chancellor has said, this institution comes out of thinking outside of the box, of finding solutions to problems, of not following the typical tradition. And as such, my words to you would be, do not see yourselves, inductees here, as just future doctors. That would not be enough. In that, from this institution and in the spirit of this institution, see yourselves as the future agents of change in whatever area in the medical profession or legal that you choose to follow. The tradition that exists between St. George's University and the government of Grenada is one of pride. We are proud of St. George's University, and we believe St. George's University is proud of us. We will work together to make sure that we are proud of healthcare in Grenada. There's a lot to be done, and you will be asked to do your part in that wherever possible. Make sure that as you enjoy the beauty of this island, that you leave something more than your footsteps, that you leave good memories with those that you meet, that you interact wherever possible, and that you remember us when you move on. And with that, I want to congratulate the inductees today, and I look forward to interacting with you wherever possible. Like the Chancellor, I hope it is not because of a big issue, but wherever possible, because unlike him, I'm a politician. So I do look for opportunities to interact with you as much as possible. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Steele and Chancellor Modica. I would now invite Dr. Stephen Weitzman, Dean of the School of Medicine, and my boss, by the way, to the podium to make a few remarks. 2 minutes.
Well, welcome to you all. I just asked John Madden, how long do I have to talk? He said 2 minutes. So 30 seconds have now gone by. But I do want to welcome you all. This has to be a very exciting time for you. And I think you're going to hear today about a number of issues regarding humanism, ethics, caring for patients, and all that becomes very important. And I want to add to that that during these first 2 years, you're going to be doing a lot of medical science as opposed to medical humanism. But it's not that far separated. And I do want you to believe and think and realize that at night when you're studying anatomy and biochemistry, that someday there's going to be a patient opposite you, complaining of pain, anxious, vulnerable, and that what you've learned in anatomy and biochemistry and physiology is going to allow you to help them. So please keep that in mind. I've always been a big fan of Arnold P. Gold and the Arnold P. Gold Foundation. And of course, he was the one that instituted the white coat ceremony. So you may not know this. Arnold P. Gold, who is now full professor of pediatric neurology at Columbia Medical School for Physicians and Surgeons, is a foreign medical graduate. He couldn't get into a U.S. medical school. He told me he applied to 30 U.S. medical schools. Couldn't make it. I think he went to school in Switzerland, and now he's a full professor of pediatric neurology at one of the most prestigious medical schools. So I think there's a great future here for everybody, and I want to wish you the best of luck. I brought my calendar along because I do want to make an appointment to talk to you again, and that'll be in the fall of 2016. At that point, I'll come down and we'll talk about transitioning from Grenada to the clinical training sites in the U.S. and the U.K. So I don't have an exact date yet, but I'd appreciate if you put it down in your book. And I'll see you then. And with the Chancellor, we'll see you all at graduation in about 4 years. So good luck.
Good job. Thank you, Dr. Weitzman. The Arnold P. Gold Foundation created the White Coat Ceremony in 1993 to promote humanism in medicine. St. George's University School of Medicine initiated its own White Coat Ceremony in 1996, long before many U.S. medical schools started their own White Coat Ceremony. In 2003, the Gold Foundation founded the Gold Humanism Honor Society, which is an international society dedicated to the promotion of humanism, professionalism, and ethics in medical practice and education. St. George's University annually inducts new members into its chapter of Gold Humanism Honor Society. St. George's chapter of this society established the Humanitarian Student Organization in 2009, through which preclinical students can engage in services research. He attended the Oregon Health Sciences University School of Medicine and the Harvard University School of Public Health. Dr. Wynia completed his internal medicine residency at the Deaconess Hospital in Boston, where he also served as chief resident, followed by a fellowship in geographic medicine and infectious disease at the Tufts New England Medical Center. Dr. Winnie's career has included developing a research institute and training programs focusing on bioethics, professionalism, and policy issues, the AMA Institute for Ethics, and founding the AMA's Center for Patient Safety. He has led projects on a wide variety of topics related to ethics and professionalism, and has served on committees, expert panels, and as a reviewer for the Institute of Medicine, the Joint Commission, the Hastings Center, the American Board of Medical Specialties, federal agencies, and other organizations. Dr. Winnie is past president of the American Society for Bioethics and Humanities, and has chaired the Ethics Forum of the American Public Health Association and the Ethics Committee of the Society for General Internal Medicine. Dr. Winnie is the author of more than 140 articles, chapters, and essays, and co-editor of several books. His work has been published in several prestigious journals, and he has discussed his work as a guest on the BBC, ABC News, and NPR. He currently splits his time between administrative and research responsibilities in Chicago at the AMA and the University of Colorado. In July, he will move to Colorado to serve as the director of the university's Center for Bioethics and Humanities. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Matt Winnie. Good job, Matt.
Wow, that was a really long introduction. Thank you. It's really an honor to be here, and a great pleasure, great privilege to do a white coat talk. I give a lot of talks. This is actually the first time I've done a white coat talk anywhere, so it's special for me. I was warned. I brought my wife and son with me, and I was warned not to be schmaltzy and not to be preachy. So I'm going to try really hard, even though I'm in ethics, and that tends to be schmaltzy and preachy. I'm going to try really hard not to do that. So let me start with just a quick sort of quiz, just by a show of hands. Of those of you who are new medical students, how many of you have ever had a doctor tell you, don't go to medical school? Holy. Okay, so that's a lot of you. Maybe everyone. It's not entirely surprising. You may or may not know this, but the AMA has been doing some research into this, and it looks like in recent surveys, maybe as many as half or more of doctors say they wouldn't recommend it to their kids. Maybe half. In one recent survey, it was 90%, but that was a very poorly done survey. So I'll take half. So why is that? I can tell you what we're hearing when we do surveys of doctors at the AMA about this. The reasons we hear are because people don't feel like the practice of medicine today is what they expected. They went to school for a long time, they feel like they gave up a lot, and now they feel like they're someone's employee. They feel like they have a lot of rules and regulations to follow. They have new electronic record systems that they have to learn, and then a few months later they have to relearn it because it gets upgraded, and I'm putting upgraded in scare quotes. And yet, is this not schmaltzy enough for you? I'm trying not to be schmaltzy. And yet, here you all are, despite that kind of an outlook that you may have heard. And I think that's a powerful testament to the value, to the intrinsic worth of the activity that we all embark on each day. Really, in life, there is one important question. And that question is, how should I spend my time? And by being here today, you have answered that question. I was speaking with Dr. Ray Barfield the other day. Ray is a pediatric oncologist at Duke University. And Ray said he thinks of his life as being each day being a coin that's been given to him to spend. And this coin he has to spend, right? You can't give it to someone else. You can't save it up and spend it later. It's your coin. You have it today to spend. And because you are here in this room, I have to believe that you have chosen to spend your coins, and now I'm speaking both metaphorically and in reality. You have chosen to spend your coins in this way. And I think it's also a worthwhile way to spend our time. Now, what makes something worthwhile? That's a really important question. And it's not the kind of question that you can answer by taking a test or by having a test done on you, right? We don't have a worthwhileness probe that we can put into you and say, this is someone who's going to find the following thing worthwhile. There are some questions that you can't answer using the scientific method. What makes a life worthwhile? What gives your life meaning and value? How should you spend your time? These kinds of questions have to be answered using other methods. Some people use religion or spirituality. People use humanism. They use art. They use philosophy, literature, music. And I'm not here to give you an answer to these questions, but I want to point out that these questions must be asked and answered. It's dangerous, actually, for all of us if we as individuals and as members of this shared profession don't continuously explore and find answers to these questions. And I say this because my sense is the reason so many doctors in the United States today are depressed and disillusioned is not just for all the sort of tangible reasons that they list when we ask them. It's because of their sort of losing view of the intangible answers to these larger questions about what makes our lives worthwhile. In fact, it may be a little more accurate to say that medicine has driven them away from answers that the profession itself could provide. There was a book back in the 1980s, terrific book. I don't recommend you go read it right now. You've got a lot of other reading to do. But there was a book in the 80s that basically described the activities of life as in two sort of big categories: finite games and infinite games. Finite games are activities where there's a defined time frame, where there are clear rules, where there's a winner and a loser at the end of the game, and you play the game to get to the end and win. Those are finite games. Taking the ACT or the SAT, getting a college degree, in many ways, these are good examples of finite games. And needless to say, by the way, we pick people for medical school who are pretty good at winning finite games, right? Who know how to set a goal and achieve it. Infinite games are human activities that go on forever, or at least we wish they would. So they have an important purpose, but they are without an obvious or desired end point. And they're pursued because they bring deeper value and meaning to our lives, deeper even than winning or losing. So for an example of an infinite game that's very tangible, think back to a summer evening as a child, in a late afternoon, playing a game with all the kids in the neighborhood. And if one of the teams starts to win by too much or too often, you switch around the players, or you change the rules. Because the point of the game isn't really to win, it's to play hard, it's to have fun, it's to be challenged, it's to get better. Infinite games don't end. And in part this is because these types of activities are reflections of very complex and deep social interactions. Infinite games often revolve around what we call complex social adaptive challenges. These are the types of problems that can't be solved by skill alone, by technical type skills. Many of them can't be solved entirely at all. But another reason infinite games don't end is because we don't want them to. The game itself has intrinsic worth. Being involved in the activity, it gives life value. The profession of medicine is an infinite game. You'll get better and better at it, but you can't win, and it never ends. There are doctors out there, there are increasing numbers of doctors out there who realize this, and I know this because we're out talking to them and asking them, why do you, doctor, experience daily joy in the practice of medicine? And there are people who reflect this, who do. Before I tell you what they say, though, I have to give you a warning. You're embarking on a couple years of pretty intense basic science work. And unfortunately, medical training tends to take students like you who are good at winning finite games, but who are really here and ready to join in this infinite game. And we inadvertently, maybe subconsciously, we treat becoming a doctor as though it's just a series of finite games. Get an A in a class, move on to the next. Do well on a test, move on to the next. Each activity is just a stepping stone to the next activity. So if you think about the testing that we make you all go through, I'm sorry. There's really no better way to create sort of bad learning habits than the types of tests that we give people, because they are conducive to cramming and then forgetting everything you just learned, and then cramming again for the next one and forgetting. People have called this academic bulimia. And we don't mean to do this to you, but through these high stakes exams, it's a good way to learn to teach people how to cram and forget, rather than seeing and treating each exam as an opportunity to assess your knowledge and skills, figure out how to best fill in your gaps, how to get better more effectively. Exams just become one more obstacle to be overcome to get to the next step, and the next step, and the next step. So here you are today, embarking on this path to lifelong learning, and sometimes it's going to feel like you are on this other path to lifelong cramming and forgetting. But that path is boring, and it's unfulfilling in the long run. And forgetting of that is what leads to professional dissatisfaction. So now I'm going to let you in on the secret of doctors who are joyful in their practice. We don't have a secret handshake in medicine, but in welcoming you to this profession today, I have to let you in on this. We are creating and reinforcing and refining and remaking our professional culture all the time. It's not set in stone. You're not inheriting the whole thing en bloc. We remake our culture in every daily choice we make, in every conversation we have about our work, in all that we do, everything we say about our profession. We have to, because it's always changing and evolving. Doctors who love what they do understand this. We are in constant conversation with ourselves, with each other, with the public about what it means to be a doctor. And in fact, the word profession is a pretty good reflection of this on its own. You all know you're entering a profession. Have you ever thought about what the word profession means? It comes from roots meaning to speak out, to profess, right? The root is profess. You profess your devotion to a spouse at a marriage ceremony. A professor is someone who stands up in public and makes declarations. So to profess is to make a public declaration or a promise. A profession is a group of people coming together to make shared promises, to make a shared set of declarations about what it means to do the work that we do. And we make these shared public declarations so that everyone will know what it means when they come to see someone who's a member of that profession. It creates trust. So reciting an oath together, as you will do today, is really just the most obvious, earliest way in which we make these shared promises. Reciting the oath is really primarily important as a symbolic thing. It's the beginning of this lifelong conversation, your participation in an endless conversation. So from now on, I want to urge you to think and talk and write constantly about what promises you are making, explicitly and implicitly, by putting on that white coat each morning and slinging a stethoscope around your neck. If you're taking part in that conversation about what it means to be a doctor, you will always find joy in the practice of medicine. Let me wrap up by saying our collective promises are found in not only our conversations, but in documents, in our codes of ethics, in our professional practice standards, even in the laws and regulations that govern our work. So conversations that you will have about ethics, about how medicine is portrayed in movies, literature, art, how the public sees us, what they expect of us, these aren't side conversations to the main stuff of medical school. These are important conversations about the meaning of your life's work. If you stop having those conversations, you get bored. It becomes rote. This is when people become dissatisfied with what we do. So today, for example, it's becoming increasingly obvious that what makes for a good doctor, a doctor who experiences happiness in their life and in their practice, isn't just the ability to recite large numbers of medical facts immediately before and after an exam. It's how well you can lead a care team. It's your skill at working in a system to ensure that patients get the best care possible. It's your ability to engage with patients in shared decision-making, to help them with self-care skills. It's the sensitivity, the values, the respect, the wonder, even the love that you bring to the patient-doctor relationship. So my task is to welcome you to the profession of medicine and also to this never-ending conversation about what that means. I'm reminded in closing of an old saying that if you don't own your culture will own you. I think nowhere is this more true than in healthcare today, and at no time has it been more important for us to claim and shape the culture of medicine. You are joining in this infinite conversation at a terrific time. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Winia, for those thoughtful comments. We're about to start the robing ceremony, and to welcome each of you to the medical profession, the School of Medicine will present you each with a white coat, symbolizing your entry to the medical profession and your commitment to uphold the duties and trust associated with medicine and medical training. Assisting Dr. Winia and I with the robing will be several of our clinical faculty. Dr. Dolid Noel, Dr. Fran McGill, Dr. Patrick Rooney, Dr. Catherine Yarwood, Dr. Oren Liddell, Dr. Danny Burns, Dr. Johansson Sylvester, Dr. Saleh Boaziz, and Dr. Frick Kotza. And this evening we are joined by Dr. Martin Stransky, Dr. Timothy McKinney, and Dr. Thomas Truitt, who have children in the entering class, and they are alumni of the university and will be helping us with the robing and their own children this evening. In recognition of our international enrollment, our Grand Marshal, Dr. Randy Wader, will announce each student's name and country of birth. Please hold your applause until all the students have been robed. We ask the audience to kindly remain seated and not interrupt the ceremony by taking pictures in the forward section of the hall. Thank you in advance for your cooperation, and I invite the robers to come on up.
They're going to come here? Okay. Okay.
Okay.
James Jacome, Florida, United States. Safia Ali, Trinidad and Tobago. Valerie Trepanier-Lemereau, Montreal, Canada. Mandeep Brar, Vancouver, Canada. Christopher Bawden, Trinidad and Tobago. Aaron Dwen, Trinidad and Tobago. Bridget Jahur, Trinidad, Tobago. Ayana Blanchard, Dominica. Tanathun Kanjornsakchai, Thailand. Guy Hayakawa, United Kingdom. Skylar Kumar Singh, Sri Lanka. Candice Kristen Alexian Bennett, Trinidad, Tobago. Lemuel Fournelier, Trinidad and Tobago. Stanley Chioma, United States. Hamish Desangyake, UK. Ka Chun Lee, Hong Kong and Oregon. Thomas Lumbra, the United States. Nina Babayan, California, USA. Denise Hanfling, Florida, USA. Jordan Lafferty, Kentucky, USA. Nisha C. Ross, Grenada. Jarmel Charles, Grenada. Crystal M. Caliste, Grenada. Annika Clouden, Grenada. Crystalline Clarina Charles, Grenada. Vonda Thompson, Grenada. Agnes Rolanda Courtney, Grenada. Anikia Bethel, Grenada. Ainke Dosu, Trinidad and Tobago. Stephen Luddington, Utah, United States. Tashina Lloyd, Dominica. Gaspar Alejandro Barreto, Florida, USA. Robert Jardine, Barbados. Chris Jones, San Diego, California. Yuvraj Brar, Los Angeles, California. Kiran Kubak, United States, Oregon. Morayu Ejofore, Nigeria. Vikaran Kadaba, New York, USA. John Giaha, Kansas, USA. Samir Silva Dukowski, United Kingdom. Brady Langagne, Grenada. Oetizi Kabatalaje, Botswana. Radhika Agarwal, Pennsylvania, USA. Sherez Bakim Chofo, Africa, Cameroon. Good. Ocean Abraham, India. Mohammed Atif, Baltimore, USA. Vikram Alexander, Florida, USA. Courtney Glenn, Texas, United States. Jennifer Torres Grafham, Colombia. Jessica Den Hartog, Indiana, USA. Michelle T. Green, Minneapolis, USA. Evita Osumga, Texas, USA. Leslie Klatchman, New York, USA. Brianne Butler, Ontario, Canada. Kaylee Christensen, Oregon, USA. Michelle Berman, New Jersey, USA. Lindsay Camilla, New York, USA. Nicole Hadajukis, New Jersey, USA. Cherie Hanna, USA. Sarah Ayad, Richmond, USA. Born in Egypt. Tatiano Delchot, Grenada. Feng Chen, China. Fozi Uzeb Khan, Pakistan, USA. Shauna Badasi, Jamaica and Florida. Aaron Sisney, Pennsylvania, USA. Kimberly Duffy, New York, USA. Jacqueline Anne-Marie Ford, Missouri doesn't have any country but USA. Lacey Granatelli, California, USA. Stephanie Insi Sianmai, Nevada, USA. Morgan Clinton, Washington, USA. Peter Curry, Michigan, USA. Stephanie Igtebin, Florida, USA. Thank you. Neva Lemoyne, Tennessee, USA. Marco Lawandi, New Jersey, USA. Nader Boutros, Egypt. Ahmed Alwane, Detroit, USA. Joseph Chirial, New York, USA. Sifyan Albic, New Jersey, USA. Nicholas Aremna, Illinois, USA. Blake Castillo, Florida, USA. Walid Mohammed Kass, Brooklyn, New York, USA. Mohammed Ikram Khan, Seattle, USA. Daniel Glover, Kansas, USA. Umar Khan, Texas, USA. Ivana Castaneda, Florida, USA. Merdad Baramni Nejad, Florida, USA. Marissa Honey, like the food, Bend, Oregon, USA. Yoonsun Rebecca Choi, Illinois, USA. Fulfilled Igalo, Nigeria. BC Atilola, Ontario, Canada. Christina Akopian, Florida, USA. Marjan Jahani, Minnesota, but born in Iran. Jonathan Edward Hill, New Jersey, USA. Mitchell Edquist, Wisconsin, USA. Nariman Konjkav Fard, Toronto, Canada. Kelsey Hartman, Oklahoma, USA. Lakeisha Francis, Antigua and Barbuda. Mane Alexanyan, Armenia. Pinak Joshi, North Carolina, USA. Anar Joshi, India. Akhil Dokwal, India. Katrina Elizabeth Bang, Florida, USA. Lauren Conway, Maryland, USA. Gail Antoine, New York, USA. Rena Abraham, New York, USA. Sohit Betheretti, Grenada. Michael Castro, New Jersey, USA. Avanth Kampampati, New York, USA. Robert Anthony Arnold, Pennsylvania, USA. Suven Cooper, Pennsylvania, USA. Roy Abdul Ralph Farhat, born in Lebanon. Jonathan Lagnice, New York, USA. Lauren Anderson, Los Angeles, California, USA. Madeline Brinson, Florida, USA. Joshua Bauer, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, USA. Gotham Behal, Illinois, USA. Kiefer Bacani, Riverside, California, USA. Joel John Koshi, Florida, USA. Wiley Abbott, Texas, USA. Kamal Albright, Dallas, Texas, USA. Taufik Kolad, world citizen, USA. Michael Hyman, Florida, USA. Lizzie Nyambora King Angi, Nairobi, Kenya. Samantha Chamberlain, Colorado, USA. Rachel Kaufman, California, USA. Sarah Koppis, New York, USA. Miriam Chaudhary, Florida, USA. Adil Abbasi, New Jersey, USA. Cameron Chamberlain, New Orleans, USA. Moshe Karp, Brooklyn, New York, USA. John Jang, California, USA. Cullen Gregory Hughes, Illinois, USA. Jung-Soo Kim, South Korea. Ariana Gordon, Georgia, USA. Olufunmilola Ajala, Illinois, USA. Jasmine Ezel Dozier, Alabama, USA. Marnisha Hatch, Mississippi, USA. Tracy Arusurare, Maryland, USA. Camille Brock, North Carolina, USA. Amina Asim Hussein, California, USA. Alana DiMasso, New Jersey, USA. Sheena Bali Chowdhury, Maryland, but from India. Alexis Hernandez, Louisville, Kentucky, USA. Junaid Anwar, New York, USA. Zara Asgar, New York, USA. Yasmin Balut, California, USA. Danelle Lowe, USA and Grenada. William Amoshi, New York, USA. Mame Saya Sisse, Senegal. Jared Kroc, New York, USA. Alina Ursova, Russia. Dieter Brumund, Wisconsin, USA. Lavon Tawalian, California, USA. Farhan Hussein, Calgary, Canada. Gohar Abbas, Texas, USA. Zain Chowdhury, Toronto, Canada. Sharoz Chowdhury, Connecticut, USA. Mindy Lay, Houston, Texas. Saim Bhatti, Seattle, USA. Neha Kasturia, Miami, Florida, born in India. Monica Karki, Maryland, USA, born in Nepal. Aaron Choi, New York, USA, born in Korea. Erfan Giasi, Burlington, USA. Kiru Niru Goyal, California, USA. Javas Gupta, Tampa, Florida, USA. Vahid Harbi, New York, USA. Man Karache, Michigan, USA. Christopher Jones, New Jersey, USA. Ginza Kai, born in Myanmar, Burma. Sandra Akimibo, Lagos, Nigeria. Christopher Calvin Keeman, Paradise, California, USA. Ajani Kesavan, Toronto, Canada. Joel Dillon, Trinidad and Tobago. Jelani Lewis Knights, Trinidad and Tobago. Waleed Khan, Mississauga, Canada. Gal Bordeaux, Israel. Heather Bergdahl, Texas, USA. Anik Islam, New York, USA. Raheel Khan, Texas, USA. Adebumi Brown, New York, USA. Paul Amasa, Ghana, West Africa. Amar Ahmad, Massachusetts, USA. Sean Brockfogel, Washington State, USA. Brittany Marcel Clement, Washington, USA. Ashley Billings, Texas, USA. Kevin Clifford, Washington, USA. Emmanuel Full, Dr. Congo, Democratic Republic of the Congo. Carlos Diego, Miami, Florida, USA. Adam Jordan Kotz, Florida, USA. Jorge Christian Cruz, Florida, USA. Pedram Juharian, Iran. Nafis Islam, Atlanta, Georgia, USA. David Axelrod, New York, USA. Samantha Kroll, Texas, USA. Wendy De La Rua, Cuba/USA. Peter Borelli, New York, USA. Vincent DeSantis, New York, USA. Joe Highlander, Chicago, USA. Joseph Alex, New Jersey, USA. Joshua Bitrin, Florida, USA. Dominic Brunello, California, USA. Franz Apostle, Japan. Grant Korinika, Philippines. Isho Han, People's Republic of China. Saravjit Singh Bati, Long Island, New York, USA. Samantha Mimi Chang, USA/Thailand. Sharon Gill, New Jersey, USA. Francis Green, Missouri, USA. Alex Crane, California, USA. Benjamin Burney, Long Island, New York, USA. Jenya Kaminsky, New Jersey, USA. Catherine Barbeau, California, USA. Asma Razak Jafar, New York, USA. Michelle Cruz, Indiana, USA. Amelia Hu, New York, USA. Amanda Dobbins, Indiana, USA. Ryan Chen, California, USA. Emily Chow, California, USA. John Kanjurum, New York, USA. Brandon Lemus, El Paso, Texas, USA. Cody Larson, Utah, USA. Benjamin Collard, Michigan, USA. Karulis Banoob, born in Egypt. Denny Joseph, Texas, USA. Navneet Kaur, New York, USA. Navjot Bazi, California, USA. Tanvir Khosla, Phoenix, Arizona, USA. Lawam Germay from Eritrea. Thank you. Hussein Al-Assadi, California, USA. Jason Fang, New Jersey, USA. Chowdhury Meem Ibrahim, Florida, USA. Thanks. Shireen Davari, Virginia, USA. Alisa Furakim, California. Alzira Avalimo, Cape Verde Islands, Africa. Sarah Edgar, California, USA. Tani Ludwig, California, USA. Amira Barmanwala, Florida, USA. Rebecca Chow, California, USA. Jinghao Du, New York, born in China. Stephen Han, New York, USA. Stacy Charles, Grenada. Kristen French Vincent, Trinidad and Tobago. Harris Ahmed, Houston, Texas, USA. Ralachuko Atta, Nigeria. Vincent Almagno, New Jersey, USA. Daniel Helfer, Florida, USA. Kafi King, Grenada. Rajwant Kaur, California, USA. Ramandeep Kaur, California, USA. Anup Kaur Khalsa, California, USA. Muhannad Kurdi, California, USA. Apomerigo Awowo, Nigeria. Thank you. Christine Gerard, Florida, USA. Dina Danji, Maryland, USA. Ladon Hassanzadeh, California, USA. Miriam Hadi, Houston, Texas, USA. Raid Habibi Atiyat, New Jersey, USA. Made in Jordan. Monique Lopez, California, USA. Rubia Haq, New York, USA. Mina Bhatnagar, United Kingdom. Amer Hussein, Illinois, USA. Ali Jafferty, New Jersey, USA. Nikki Deshba, California, USA. Sarah Renee Cheney, Florida, USA. Francesca Garcia, Puerto Rico. Annette Garan, Florida, USA. Michelle Corpus, California, USA. William Lopez, Florida, USA. Jeffrey Jackson, Indiana, USA. Manaza Javin from USA. It's a big country. Benedict Garma, California, USA. Christina Marie Herder, Long Island, New York, USA. Rumnik Betty, Ohio, USA. Carissa Boboski, Ohio, USA. Anna Stransky, Connecticut, USA. She's going to be rowed by her father, who's an alumnus. That's a tough act to follow. Mike E. Charles, Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Basim Hanna, Oklahoma, USA. Kyle Bernard, Pennsylvania, USA. Sean Harford, Grenada. Harmon Clare, Ontario, Canada. Raquel Dornelles, Antigua and Barbuda. Christian Bocage, Trinidad and Tobago. Ashley Bray, Florida, USA. Neil Kotrapa, California, USA. Kampas Chan, Trinidad and Tobago. Mohammed Abouamesh, born in Jordan.
This time I ask all the students and any physicians present to stand and join me in the recitation of the professional commitment, which can be found in the back of the program. Okay. Today is the beginning of my medical education and training as a physician. I acknowledge my responsibility to continue the pursuit of knowledge and understanding until that day when I will cease to be a practicing physician. I am entering training for a noble profession in which my interest must always be subservient to those who may seek my assistance. I must be ever conscious of the value of my fellow health professionals and treat them with respect at all times. My classmates at St. George's University are now my colleagues, and I owe to them the same support and encouragement to achieve their goals as I hope to receive from them. I will work alongside my colleagues and professors with tolerance, compassion, and honesty. I acknowledge my obligation to adhere to the University Honor Code and to conduct myself with integrity and in an ethical manner at all times henceforth. I shall do all within my power to show in myself an example of all that is honorable and good throughout my medical career. It is a privilege to have been given the opportunity to become a physician. May I be ever conscious of that privilege, never abuse it. Thank you. You may be seated. It truly is a privilege to be given the opportunity to become a physician. I congratulate all of you on this occasion as you begin your journey in our honored profession. Dr. Gold himself once said, "A physician's responsibility is not only to take care of the patient, but also to care for patients." 4 years or so from now, we'll all be getting together again in New York to recite another oath based on the Hippocratic Oath written in 400 BC. In fact, on the 25th anniversary of my own becoming a physician, I, along with a group of emergency physicians from around the world, had the honor of reciting the Hippocratic Oath at a ceremony in Hippocrates' temple on the island of Kos in Greece. On behalf of St. George's University School of Medicine, I wish to thank the Arnold Gold Foundation for the Humanism in Medicine lapel pin placed on each of the students' white coats. I would like to thank Chancellor Modica, Dr. Winia, our students, their parents, family, friends, faculty, and staff for attending this evening as these young students begin their lifelong journey of learning the art and science of medicine. Please remain seated until our faculty and students have exited behind our Grand Marshal, and I invite all of you to join us in the Lewis and Marion Modica Hall after the 7 p.m. white coat ceremony for a reception. Thank you all for your attention, and have a pleasant evening.